So Bodhi, I think a lot of people would agree that it would be foolish or dangerous not to be a little fearful in life, not to be a little alert, not to be a little in control. So many things could happen.
Yeah. And so much suffering comes from living from that state.
Yeah.
When we are identified with that young part of us that didn't have the resources to navigate through life and didn't have someone there telling us, it's okay. Fear developed, and it's psychological fear. It's different than a lion is running toward me, which is a pure survival fear. But as we develop, we somehow confuse that survival fear with psychological fear. And we think it's just as real, that we're actually in danger of not surviving. Like, if you don't love me, if you don't think I'm great, or if you don't think this response is good, that could be a threat to me, because then you might go away, and then what? I'll be left on my own, and how will I do this?
Yeah.
Because we all so deeply long for that connection.
Yeah.
We can be in a place of love, in a state of presence and peace and joy, and be fine in our aloneness. And yet, we are designed to be interconnected and to relate and connect and be with and as community. And so the psychological fear, the emotional fear, it's really a mind-made, thought-based fear that gets so confronting to us that people won't like us and that we won't survive without people.
Yeah.
There's like a seed of truth in that, because we need love in and around us. We need community to survive. It's organic and natural to want to be connected. But the fear, the psychological fear, is not natural. It's normal. It's happening for people every day. But we can wake up sufficiently out of that illusion into a true state of presence and a live awareness about what's real, and be free of that fear, because we're no longer worrying about a future that doesn't exist, that we're just inventing with our minds to self-protect, to like protect ourselves from what could happen, or dwelling in the past of all the things that happened to us and all the dangers and threats we faced and all the wounds that occurred. So freedom from fear has to do with living in the presence. And coming back to what you said right at the beginning, shouldn't we, and I know it was just a question, you weren't really thinking this.
No.
But shouldn't we kind of worry a little bit? That drains our energy.
Yeah.
And it takes our attention away from being.
It does.
And it closes our heart. We contract, and then as we close our heart in fear, we're cut off from love, because we don't feel the love from people around us.
No, and we'll create exactly what we fear.
That's right. And then we're so worried that we're going to be in danger that we lose touch with the love that actually is there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very beautifully said. And so true, and I think so important to realize the little child that most of us carry inside, that think, if mom and dad doesn't love me, I will die. And and we'll put that out into every other loving relationship we have in our lives. And the fact that the brain doesn't know the difference between a thought and reality.
That's right.
So I'll think something fearful and my body will react as if it was true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is
And we'll
true for
create
the brain in that moment.
yeah, we'll create our reality like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Feel the power of now. Allow it all to be and be free. To respond to life in harmony. Awaken reality, resist nothing. Feel the power.